You hear a song, you say, no, this is brother A singing, this is sister B singing, because you know the quality of their sound, the quality of the voice of the sound they produce, their human, the quality of their vocal quality. So that is called timbre. So we'll take questions later on these topics as we visit you in your various locations. We'll entertain questions from you. The chapter 2. So the chapter 2 will be taken by the next facilitator. That's Bro Promise Ungozi. He's going to take the chapter 2. And so, Bro Promise, your turn. Thank you. Okay, it's back. It's my turn. Chapter 5, the scale, or the musical scale. So, every one of us is familiar with the series of what is called solfa notes. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That is described as a ladder of sound. And the Italian word for ladder is scala. And the ladder of sound is called scale. So this, what I just produced, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, is the scale in tonic solfa. And those do, re, mi, fa, sol, this is tonic solfa really. It's called the solfa notation. Okay. In the previous topics by the other facilitators, you were told about the letter sound, which is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. There are 7 letter sounds in music. What we are saying is that there are 7 distinct sounds in music. Researchers, scientists, professionals, musicians over the century discovered that there are only 7 different sounds in music. Okay, it is not years of research, years of discovery. Okay, is this audible? Okay, years of research, years of discovery. So they've discovered that there are just 7 distinct sound in music. So all the songs, all the music we produce here on earth, all the music we produce use only 7 sounds to produce them all. And you can imagine all what we do with 7 sounds. I mean, as human beings. And that's, I tell people, that's why heavenly music will be different from earthly music. You can imagine if heavenly music has 1,000 sounds. You can imagine what can be done with it. With 7 sounds, we produce harmony. Different parts. Our song is so interesting here on earth. We enjoy ourselves. Imagine if we had 1,000 different sound. You can imagine what humanity would be able to do. So this 7 distinct sound of music, or music, is what is called the scale. SCALE. That is scale. And I want to say something here briefly before I continue. Many of us have been singing for many years. Some of us have been choristers for 30 years, for 20 years. Some have even sang for nothing less than 5 years. The truth is that you've been doing these things correctly over the years. You've actually been producing the right music. You've been doing it the correct, the accurate way. What we seek to achieve, or what we seek to do in this lecture training, is to teach you the theory what you are doing over the years. To teach you the theory what you already know, what you're already practicing. Um, Hello, Fikayo. Okay, let's continue. So you actually know these things already. So I don't want you to approach these trainings or these lectures like as if you don't know anything. You know so much already. For the fact that you have been singing for minimum of 5 years shows you are actually very knowledgeable in what you do. So we are going to add a little more to what you already know. So this topic, the scale, I want you to approach it from, you know, a background of, I know this already. I'm just trying to know the theory behind it. Because the truth is that you've been singing these tonics of us for many years. You've been singing do re mi fa sol la ti do. You've been singing it, so it's not new to you. It's something you've been doing over the years. So what I'm doing now is to show you the theory behind what you have been doing all this while. Okay, so it's not a new, it's not a new, it's not a strange, rather, it's not a strange. I think this is 5 octave. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it starts from C. It starts from C. So from C to the next C is 1 octave. From C to the next C is 1. So if you count all the C's there, it's about 6 of them. So this is a 5 octave keyboard. If you start from C, which is the extreme, on your extreme left, you can play, right word. And when you keep playing right word, what you'll be hearing is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. You can try it on the church keyboard right now, or if you have one at home, just go to the last note by your left and press that note. It's actually that note, or that key note, is called C on the piano. So when you play it, do, re, just play right word and try to sing along. You realize that you are going to produce these tonic surfers. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And if you continue to play on, it's going to repeat itself. It's going to repeat itself. Re, mi, fa, re, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Continuously. So the keyboard is actually just a repetition of the scale. Okay, it's just a repetition of the scale. That's what you have the keyboard. So no matter how long or how big a keyboard is, all what you just have there is these 7 letter sounds that are just continuously being repeated. That is a keyboard. Okay, if you now play, if you actually just play from C, like we said earlier on, if you just play only from that very last note on your left, you played it continuously and you produced do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do only on the white key notes. You didn't touch any black key notes. Just play only the white key notes continuously that way. If you do that, you are going to produce that tonic surfer, like I said earlier on. But then that will now be called the scale of C major. The scale of C major. Why is it called the scale of C major? Because you started playing it from the notes called C. You started playing it from the note called C. And because it sounded correctly, as in do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, it sounded correctly, that's it's called scale of C major, right? Of course. And then the key you're actually playing on is called key C major. All right, do you understand me now? So what I'm trying to say is, if you start playing the piano from the key note called C, by the way, how do you know the key note that is called C? Is the white key by the left of 2 black keys. Just ask the church organist to show you the key note called C. If it shows you, just press that key note and play right word. Only white keys. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. You have produced the scale of C major. That's what you have done. And then you've actually played on key C major. Okay, you've played on key C major. The next topic is key signature. So we're going to explain further what it means to for a musical piece to be key C or key A or key F or key B flat. That will be explained later. So if you look at the piano again, just looking at this piano again, you find out that there are 2 black keys, 3 black keys, 2 black keys, 3 black keys. It's a group. Okay, and then the white keys are all in between the black keys, or the black keys are the ones in between the white keys. How do you know the names of the white keys? In relation to the black keys, you can actually know their names. Just identify a group of two black keys. Identify a group of two black keys, and then check the white key at the left. Does this have a pointer? Oh, okay, this one is the pointer. This one is it showing now? Okay, showing, right? Okay, so you can see two black keys, three black keys, two black keys, three black keys, and so on. How do you find the white key that is called C? Just pick these two black keys here, and then check this white key by the left. By the left of these two black keys, that is the key called C. Okay, just before it is B, and then you have A here. So you can go off this textbook and just check the piano in church, and you discover that just on the left of two black keys is C. This particular C I'm pointing at is called the middle C. This particular C is the middle C. Is a reference point for a singer. It's a very important sound for a singer. In fact, virtually all the parts, they all pass through the middle C. The middle C is a reference point for the singer. That will be explained in the singing class. Okay. So this middle C is very important. Even for those learning to play piano, they place the right hand or the first finger of the right hand on the middle C. That's where the learning starts from. So the middle C is very, very important. Now, by the right of the middle C is D, as the next black key. D is located in the middle of two black keys. That's the white key note called D. And on the left is E. Now you can find out that between E and F, there is no black key in between them. We will explain the reason for this. E and F has no black key in between it. F and G has a black key. G and A has a black key. A and B has a black key. But then B and C has no black key again in between it. So E and F has no black key. B and C has no black key. So I'll bring our attention back to this later. So like I said earlier, from C to C is 1 octave. This is another octave, 3 octave, 4 octave, 5 octave. So you can call this piano a 5 octave keyboard or a 5 octave piano. This is a 5 octave piano. Okay. So when you start playing from C, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, you have produced C major scale. And that C major scale, the key is called key C major. It is key C major because the do sound is C. If I start playing from here, assume I want to start from A, and I say I want this sound A to be the do sound. I want it to sound as do. Okay, so I now say do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. I'm starting from A. If you play it that way, it will not sound correctly. If you play A as do, you play B as re. If you play C as mi, it will not sound correctly. The C will not be the correct mi sound. If you are starting from A, D will sound correctly as va, E will sound correctly as so, but F will not sound correctly as la, G will not sound correctly as T. You can try it in just start from this particular sound, this particular keynote rather, called A. If you want to play it correctly, to make it sound like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, you have to press A as your do sound, press B as the re, but you have to press this black key as the mi. Okay, it's not this C you will press, it's this one you press as your mi sound. Then you're going to press D as the va sound, you press E as the so sound, but you press this black key as the la sound. This black key will be the T sound, and then this will be the higher do. So in A key A major, to produce the A major scale, that's the scale of A major, which is key A major, and then the do sound actually is going to be A, you're going to get do, re, mi, va, so, la, si, do. You're going to touch or press 3 black keys. Now, if you change your mind and say, okay, let the do sound, let it be E, or maybe you open a musical score and you see do is E major. You ask, what does this mean? What does this mean to be do is E major? Now, it's more applicable for the instrumentalist, let's say for the pianist. He is one that really applies it the most. Now, what does it mean to the pianist that do is E major? What, or the key rather is E major? That means that the do sound is E. So this is where you find the do sound. This place where the cursor is, that is on the right side of 2 black keys, where you have the E as the keynote. Now, if E is the do sound, F will not be the re. It's actually going to be F sharp, or this black key in front of F. The mi sound will not be G. It's going to be this black key in front of G. So you're going to have a situation of do, re, mi, va, so, la, si, do. So in E major, you are going to press 4 black keys. Okay? You're going to press 4 black keys. All right? So that's it. So this is what this session is just trying to explain, that there are white and black keynotes on a piano. So the question again is, what is the name of these black keys? What are their names? Now that we know that the white keynotes have their names already, like I explained earlier on, I said the keynote in front of, or on the left side of a group of 2 black keys, this white keynote is C. And then the keynote in between 2 black keys is D. And then the one on the right side of 2 black keys is F, or E rather. And then it continues. What is the name of this black keynote? What is the name? Every black keynote has 2 names. It has 2 names. This black keynote is called C sharp because it is on the right side of C, or you say it is in front of C. It's in its front. It's right side in front. So it's called C sharp. But then this same black key is on the left side of D. So it's called D flat. So every black key has 2 names. This particular one is called C sharp or D flat. This one is called D sharp or E flat. This one is called F sharp or G flat. This is G sharp or A flat. This is A sharp or B flat. So each of them have 2 names. The reason why it's that way, we're going to explain that later. But that's what is being explained here. But I won't dwell much on that because it's a technical it's a technical subject matter. So we won't explain in detail so much of what is called harmonic equivalence, what is called just intonation, equal temperament. These are musical terms or technical terms that are applicable, to explain the reason why each black key has 2 names, or all other reasons surrounding tonality. Okay, intonation means sound. It's like bringing out one sound and going inside of it and try to understand why this sound is exactly this way. As singers, many singers just sing, but some people go backward, go into the studio, go into the study room, go into the research lab, to the laboratory, to dissect a sound and understand why this sound is exactly this way. To now see all other things they can use to embellish the sound, to improve on it, to make it sweeter, or to sound in a particular way they want it to sound. So that people would spend a lot of time doing that. You know, they are scientists, of course. So that's in their field. So for the singer, we mainly that C sharp, D flat, E sharp, E flat. You know, just the surface, on the surface level, what it really means on the surface, which is what I've explained to you. What is sharp? What is flat? So the sharp is used to raise the pitch of a note by a semitone, and the flat sign is used to raise the pitch of a note or to lower the pitch of a note by a semitone. I think there's a place where we're going to explain it using tonic surface. Of course, the double sharp raises the pitch by a tone, and the double flat lowers the pitch by a tone. The natural sign restores a sharpened or a flattened note back to its original pitch. All this will be applied. We're going to explain it in details when we are transcribing the musical score. So that will be explained in details. Okay, another musical term that we are familiar with, which I'm bringing to our knowledge, is the tones and semitones. Tone and semitone. Okay, what's the tone or what is the semitone? Let's start with that. The semitone is the distance or the difference in pitch from a white note to the black note immediately to its right or left. So something like this. Looking at this keyboard, this is C and this is C sharp. Okay, so this is distance the distance between, let me say, the musical distance between C and C sharp is called a semitone. So the musical distance between C and C sharp is called a semitone. Between C sharp and D is also called a semitone. Okay? But the musical distance between C and D is called a tone. So what's the difference between a tone and a semitone? A tone is two semitones. There are two semitones in a tone. Let me explain what we mean by distance. Well, actually, the technical term is interval. Okay? So I would just say that a semitone is the interval between C and C sharp. It's also the interval between G and G sharp. While a tone is the interval between C and D. So in music, interval is called the distance between sound, or the difference in pitch. The difference in pitch between two sounds is called interval. The difference in pitch. Remember I told you that pitch is how high or how low a sound is. So if you produce two sounds and you go on the musical scale to measure it, the distance between those two sounds on the musical scale is called interval. The topic interval is covered in another book. It's not covered in this book. It's what is used to in harmony, to harmonize music. We use intervals between sounds to produce harmony. Okay, so that's under the topic harmonization. That'll be explained in details. It's not in this coursework. So, but what you just know here is that the distance between two sounds, okay, especially two sounds that are very, the shortest distance in music is actually the semitone. Okay, so between C The shortest distance in music is between this C and C sharp. It's the shortest distance. What is distance? It's just like, say, from Agege to Ikeja. You see, Agege to Ikeja is 4 kilometers. You now say from Ikeja to Maryland, it's under 4 kilometers. Or let's break it down. We say, okay, let's just use a very simple. Say Agege to Ikeja is half kilometer. Then Ikeja to Maryland is half kilometer. Assuming that's the situation. So what's the distance between Agege to Maryland? That would be 1 kilometer. Okay, so just imagine that sound, like, it can be measured in a literal distance form, where you have C located at Agege, and then you have D located at Maryland, and then there's a middle ground, Ikeja. So between C that is in Agege and D that is at Maryland, the distance between them is 1 kilometer. Or in music, the distance between them is a tone, 1 tone. Using a more musical term, say the interval between C and D is a tone. Just imagining that from Agege to Maryland is 1 kilometer. So you say, okay, musically, the distance or the interval between C and D on the piano, looking at this piano, the distance in sound, the difference in pitch, the interval between them is what? A tone. Then now bring it the middle place, which is the Ikeja we described earlier, that okay, from Agege to Ikeja, half kilometer. From Ikeja to Maryland, half kilometer. That middle sound is called C sharp, this black key we are looking at here. So we say from C to C sharp, that is the shortest distance possible in music. And that shortest distance possible is called a semitone. That's the distance between C and C sharp. That's the shortest distance you can get in music. You can't get anything shorter than that in today's music. I don't know how the music will be in 1,000 years' time. But today's music we sing today, the shortest distance of two sound in music is a semitone, which can be described on the piano as the distance between C and the nearest black key to it, which is C sharp. All right? Two semitones will now make up a tone distance, which is between C and D on the piano is a tone. Of course, between D and E, if I ask you, what's the distance between D and E? Is it a tone or a semitone? I'm sure you would say it's a tone. The distance, or let me just use the correct terms now so we get knowledge about ones. The interval between D and E on the piano is a tone. Why is it a tone? Because there's a black key in between them. So the interval between D and D sharp is a semitone. Between D sharp and E is a semitone. Therefore, the interval between D and E is a tone. Is that okay? Now, between the interval between C and E is actually 2 tones. It's 2 tones because between C and D is 1 tone, between D and E is another tone. So between the interval between C and E on this piano is 2 tones, or maybe 2 kilometers if you want to bring it down to the literal sense. We say 2 kilometers. So the interval between C and E is 2 tones. But then how many semitones are there? Let's count. Between C and C sharp is a semitone. Between C sharp and D is another semitone, making 2. Between D and D sharp is a semitone, making 3 semitones. Then between D sharp and E is 1 more semitones. So altogether there are 4 semitones between C and E on the piano, or 2 tones. Now we observe that there's no black key between E and F. So if I ask you, what is the interval between E and F? Is it a tone or a semitone? I want you to think about it. What is the interval between E and F on the piano? Is it a tone or a semitone? Okay, let me ask you one question. Is there any black key in between? Of course, there's no black key. So because there's no black key note in between them, the interval is a semitone. It's a semitone because there's no black key in between. Remember, we were talking about C to C sharp being a semitone and a C to D being a tone. Why is C to D a tone? Because there's actually a sound. There's a sound in between. You see, don't look at black keynotes, white keynotes. There's no superiority here. The white keynotes are not superior to the black keynotes, or the black keynotes are not superior to the white keynote. They are actually of the same level. It's just for proper piano fingering, effective piano fingering that the developers have, or those who invented the piano invented it this way, where they put some sounds, some keynotes up, they put some down. Really, they are all on the same level. They have the same meter of distance between them. So the distance or the interval between C to C sharp is actually the same thing as the distance between C sharp and D. It's the same measurement of distance. That is what is called interval. And that measurement of distance is called the semitone. It's the shortest distance in music or on the musical scale. Remember the scale is a ladder of sound. So it's the shortest distance on the musical scale. So if you look at E and F, there's no other sound in between them. They're like twins. They're like twin Taye and Kehinde. These two sounds you're looking at, there's no sound in between them. So the distance between E and F on the piano is actually a semitone, not a tone. It's a semitone. Okay? Between F and G is a tone. Between G and A is a tone. Between A and B is a tone. All because there are, black keys in between them. But then between B and C is another semitone. It's a semitone distance between B and C. Now, for you a singer, really, if you just sing your tonic suffer normally, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, you may not observe whether one is semitone, whether the other one is a tone. It's when you maybe as an instrumentalist or as a music theorist, when you now go into the understanding of this sound, the tones, you now get to see that some tones are shorter, some sounds are shorter, they are closer to each other than others. Okay? Now, if I may ask you just one more question, between these black key notes and these black key notes, what is the interval? Remember, interval is distance between sound. So let's call this black key note, let's call it a D sharp. Can also be called D flat. Then let's call this one F sharp or G flat. So between D sharp and F sharp, how many tones are there, or how many semitones are there? So we count again. Between here and here is a semitone. Here and here is semitone. Here, yes. So there are three semitones between D sharp and F sharp. There are three semitones between D sharp and F sharp. And those three semitones is the same thing as 1.5 tones. Okay? So this issue of tones and semitones it becomes applicable, in the construction of the scale, okay, of how a scale looks like. It's applicable there. But meanwhile, this is just what we've been explaining, that between C to C sharp, okay, is a semitone distance. Between F sharp and G, is a semitone, and so on. Okay. So when we meet in a physical class, we could put them into practice and understand them better. But as we continue, downward or progressively, we will still get to understand it better when we're explaining different types of scale, which is actually what we are talking about now. um, we understand there are at least three categories of scale. Remember the scale is large sounds. You know, a programmer, a computer programmer will tell you that there are a set of codes that he uses to write a program. So, for example, if you want to write a program, maybe using a C++ language or the C language, you have a set of codes you are going to use. You can't use any other codes that is different from what you have been, that that program covers. If you're learning Python, you would have been trained on a set of codes which you can use to write a program in Python. That also applies to all other, programming languages. In music, the scale is a set of code that you can use to produce a song. So if you want to produce a kind of song, the kind of songs that we sing in church, that's the hymns, the anthems, the choruses, those kind of songs we sing in church. If you want to produce those kind of songs, if you want to write those kind of, compose those kind of songs, you have to use the scales called the diatonic scale. You cannot use any other type of scale per se. If you want to produce the music of a particular native, of a particular tribe, you have to understand the scale of that tribe music. You have to understand the scale of tribal music before you can, safely compose music, that tribal music, or in that tribe's style. Okay, for example, Fuji music is a music of the Yoruba people. Now, as a trained musician, say you're an Igbo musician, you're trained, in music but you're an Igbo person. So ab initio, you don't understand Fuji music because you are not a Yoruba person. But then, if you now want to, maybe your project, your school project is to compose a music in Fuji. What you have to first do is to go understand the scale of Fuji music. That's the scale that is used to compose or produce Fuji music. When you understand that scale, you can now safely produce music in the Fuji music style. But if you don't understand the scale, you may think that you have produced the Fuji music, but it will not go down well. It will not go down with the owners of the music. They will not appreciate it in depth. So it applies everywhere. That's why traditional music or traditional scales, there are so many of it. Every tribe has its own traditional scale. Every tribe has its own traditional scale. So even if you go to Hausa land, you see different types of scales. When you listen to their song, as a musician, you can now study that tribal music and then understand the scale that is being used to produce or compose song in that tribe, in that culture. The study of that kind of music is called ethnomusicology. It's something people study for PhD, and advanced programs. After you see white people, they come to Africa, they come down, they try to understand what we are doing here in Africa. You think that they are enjoying you. What they are doing, they are studying your music, and then they go back maybe to the US and then use that style, that scale that they've understood, that your traditional scale, they use it to produce something. And then when they bring it here to Nigeria, everybody's jumping. Or people, they love our music. They actually came down here to learn, to understand the scale that your song is being used to produce your song. So when we come to the church, or the kind of music we sing in the church, which is largely classical music, or in some churches contemporary music, the scale that is being used is called diatonic scale. Okay, that scale is called diatonic scale. There's another type of scale called chromatic scale, and traditional scales, of course. So the diatonic scale has two types of scales: the major scale and the minor scale. Those two are what is called the diatonic scale. There are also some scales called the blues scale or the jazz blues scales that is used for composing jazz music. That's why if you listen to jazz musicians, the way they play, the singing is, the way they chord is quite different from the way classical music is, because they use a kind of scale called the blues scale or the jazz scale. So that's not what we study here too. So what we're going to study today is, or right now, is the major scale and the minor scale. Of course, we're not also going in depth. We're just surface on the surface for, just for you, the singer. So the major scale is what we have been talking about all this while. Is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's the major scale. It's not harder than that. It's not more than that. That's why I said earlier on that what you have been doing for 20, 30 years, you've actually been doing it correctly. You've been singing for many years. You've been singing correctly. What we are just giving you is a theory behind what you have been doing. So once you arm yourself with the theory, you will understand better and improve on whatever you've been doing for many years. So the major scale has just 8 degrees or 8 different sounds, which is the first sound is called the do sound, which is the number 1 sound. The second sound is the re sound. The third sound is the mi. The fourth sound is the va. The fifth sound is the so. La is the 6th sound. Ti is the 7th sound, and a home note called the do sound. So what we have written here are their technical names: tonic, supertonic, median. These are just the names of these sounds. Of course, we are all familiar with these 8 sounds. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. You are all familiar with it. We know it every day. We sing it every day in all the songs we sing. Okay? So the next question is, what is the interval between each of these sound, or these sounds that make up the major scale? What is the interval between each of them? Like I said, what's the distance? So the interval between do and re is a tone. The interval between re and mi is a tone. Between mi and va is a semitone. Between va and so is a tone. Between so and la is a tone. Between la and ti is a tone. Between ti and do is a semitone. Please, if you don't understand this, I would advise you pause or you stop this record, this video, and go back to the beginning and listen to it again. That's from the beginning of the major scale. Listen to it again and understand what I mean by a tone and a semitone. Okay? So if we go back to this, the piano that we had here, you find that what I said earlier on tallies here. If it's key C major, if we are on key C major and the do sound is C, so this becomes the do sound. Or let me start from here. This becomes the do sound. This is the re. What's the interval between do and re here now? It is a tone, because you are crossing a black note. Between re and mi, do, re, mi, where is the mi sound? The interval is also a tone. But you can see between mi, va is a semitone, because there are no black keys in between. Between va and so is a tone. Between so and la is a tone. Between la and ti is a tone. Between ti, do is a semitone. So do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So you just say the semitones occur between the 3rd and 4th. That between mi, va, which is the 3rd degree, and the 4th degree. The semitones occur between the 3rd and 4th degree, between the 7th and 8th degree. That's why you have semitones. The rest are tones. The interval between the other sounds are tones. Okay? The interval between the sounds are tones. As you can see here, between do and re, the interval between them is a tone. Between re and mi, the interval is a tone. Between mi and va, the interval is a semitone. Between va and so, the interval is a tone. So and la is a tone. La and ti is a tone. And then ti, do is a semitone. This is the principle of the major scale. The principle of the major scale is that the semitones occur between degrees 3 and 4 and between degrees 7 and 8. That each of this is a degree. So there are 7 degrees of the major scale, or 7 steps of the ladder. You know, a ladder using to climb heights. Each of the steps is a degree when in reference to music. So a major scale has 8 degrees. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. This is the first degree, or degree 1. This is the second degree, or degree 2. And the major scale principle states that between degree 1 and degree 2 has to be a tone difference, or a tone interval. This has to be a tone interval too. But then between degree 3 and 4 and degree 7 and 8 must be semitones intervals. Now, why are there actually semitones here? Because between do and re, there's actually a middle sound that is called D. Between re and mi, there's a middle sound called re. There are those black keys you have in between them. But between mi, va, there's no middle sound. Between va and so, there's a v middle sound. Between so and la, there's a z. Between la and ti, there's a li. And then ti. So chromatically, if we are to sing this major scale, it's going to be do, di, re, re, mi, va, vi, so. Fa, vi, so, zi, la, li, te, do. To get the proper sounds, you can use the piano to get the proper sounds. In contemporary musicians, they call them half notes. This di, re, vi, zi, li, they are called half notes, or they are called accidentals, depending on how you want to explain them. Okay. And actually, when you're singing down the scale, those half notes, they also occur. So you have do, te, to, la, lo, so, vi, va, mi, mo, re, ro, do. Okay. Once again, you find out that between va, mi, there's no half notes in between them. It's because the distance is a semitone. The interval between them is the shortest interval possible. So there's no notes in between it. And between do, ti, there's no half notes. Okay. So if you want to sing up and down the scale chromatically, that's the chromatic scale. You want to sing the scale chromatically, you're going to have something like this. This may not sound very correctly, but then it's close to it. You have do, di, re, re, mi, va, vi, so, zi, la, li, te, do, te, to, la, lo, so, vi, va, mi, mo, re, ro, do. Maybe in our next recordings, we'll get a professional singer to help us with it down. I think my voice is not strong enough, or it's not. So a professional singer that produce something better. So bear with me for now. So pronunciation is what I have. How to pronounce the half notes correctly. Construction of a major scale. This is for those who want to write theory exams. If you want to write music theory exams, you might be required to construct the major scale. So like we've been saying since, it's just to take note of where the semitones should occur. Okay. And we understand it should occur between degree 3 and 4 and between degree 7 and 8. So if it's a C major scale you are constructing, it's a naturally occurring scale. So it will occur naturally between E and F and between B and C. So just play the piano only on white keys and you get the semitones occurring between E, F and also between B, C. But if you want to construct the scale of G major, that's the G major scale, which implies that the do sound is going to be G. Okay, the G is going to be the do sound. So the first thing to do is to write up or write out the letters E, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. These are the 7 letter sounds that will make up the G major scale. So the next thing is to bother about where the semitones occur. So when you play the piano from G to the next G, you discover that the semitones, of course, they are found between B, C and between E, F. But in software notations, that's between Meva will be fine. That's where the semitone is. But you now find that the semitones is occurring between degree 6 and degree 7. Whereas the major scale principle expects that the semitone should occur between degree 7 and 8, not between 6 and 7. 6 and 7 should be a tone. Alright? So how do we get that corrected? We get that corrected by sharpening the F sound. Okay, so here the second semitone naturally occurs between degrees 6 and 7, but according to the major scale, it should be degrees 7 and 8 instead. To correct this and subsequently restore the tail sofa sound, we sharpen F. So when you sharpen F, okay, you're going to have a semitone now naturally occurring between F and G, F sharp and G. For F major scale, almost a similar situation where the semitone is occurring between degrees 4 and 5 naturally, whereas it should occur between degrees 3 and 4. So what do? We flatten B. So when B is flattened, you have the major scale principle, being applied correctly, which is between degrees 3 and 4 and between degrees 7 and 8. So what this implies is that the F major, the key of F major, okay, has one flat, and that is the B flat. So you need to press the B flat black key in order to produce the key of F major correctly. So talking of A major scale, you actually have to touch 3 black keys to make it sound correctly. And then for E flat major scale, you have to touch 3 black keys too to make them sound correctly. So the minor scale, like I said, this major scale and the minor scale, it's in the application, it's in the singing. When maybe when we have a singing class, in a singing class, we are going to describe it better. But on paper or theoretically, this is what it is like, or this is what it should be. So the minor scale is a little more, complex, or a little more difficult than the major scale. But in this coursework, we're not going to, delve into the nitty-gritty of the minor scale. What you should just understand about the minor scale is that the minor scale, the semitones occur between the 2nd and 3rd degree, and also between the 5th and 6th degree. The major scale, the semitones occur between where? Degree 3 and 4, degree 7 and 8. But for the minor scale, the semitones occur between degree 2 and 3, degree 5 and 6. And another thing with the minor scale is that in tonic sofa, the home notes or the tonic is the last sound. So you have it sounding like Ate do re mi fa sol la so va mi re do ti la. That's the minor scale. Okay, that's the minor scale. Well, for singers, there are actually two minor scales, two types of minor scale. But there are more than two minor scales. But really, for here, let's talk about the melodic minor scale and the harmonic minor scale. And it's also still a technical explanation I'm going to offer you right now. And the technical explanation I'm going to offer you for a melodic minor scale is that the semitones occur between the second and third degree, and also between degree 7 and 8 on ascension. And on descending, okay, it now occurs between degree 6 and 5 and second and third. So this is the structure of a melodic minor scale in tonic solfa. La ti do re, la ti do re mi vi zi la, so va mi re do ti la. La ti do re mi vi zi la, so va mi re do ti la. That's the melodic minor scale. The the difference between this melodic minor scale and a major scale is that the semitones in the melodic minor scale occur between the second and third degree, and also between the seventh and eighth degree. But for a major scale, the semitones occur between the third and fourth degree, not second and third degree. Okay, but on descending, the minor scale and the major scale have the same sound. They have the same set of sounds. Okay, but on ascending, the melodic minor scale has a sharpened sixth degree and a sharpened seventh degree. That's the VZ. Okay, so the other category of a minor scale is the harmonic minor scale. The harmonic minor scale. The harmonic minor scale, like I said, is just the technical explanation I'm going to offer you right now. The explanation is that the semitones occur between the second and third, and also between the seventh and eighth. Okay, so that's the harmonic minor scale. It's just where the semitones occur still. The semitones occur between second and third, and between seventh and eighth. So to sing it will be something like la ti do re mi va zi la, la zi va mi re do ti la. So between the sixth degree, between this va and z, there are three semitones. Okay, and between this z va, there are three semitones. So it's just where the semitones occur, because this is used in music exams. You may be tested and be asked to to describe this and that. It's just for music theorists. Of course, for those who harmonize music too, especially in a theoretical way, is very relevant to them also. Okay, this talks about the relationship between the major and the minor scale. Of course, they are related. The well, I don't know how I'm going to explain this this part. Maybe you should just read it. When we meet physically, I will explain to you. But really, it does not affect the day-to-day singing. It really does not affect day-to-day singing. So I think we should just go to the illustration we have here. This illustration is very important for a singer. As a singer, you really need to know how to sing the scale. Okay, you should be very, very familiar with the scale. Maybe the C major scale, because that's what you can easily do by you can easily get that by pressing all the keys on piano. So if you want to sing the C major scale, just find C on the piano, and I told you how you can find C on the piano. It's just by getting a set of two black keys. The white key note by the left is C. Press that key note. That's the C sound. Produce the C sound in your mind. Call it do. Do. Press that C sound and call it do. So sing, just so from there play the piano rightward. and then sing along. You actually produce the major scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. You'll be able to produce that. If you're an alto singer in the choir or bass singer, you may not want to start from C, you see. It will be more convenient to start from G. So you could ask the pianist in church to show you where the G sound is, and then find the G sound, press it, play it continuously until you internalize the sound as do. So from there, just play the G major scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. G, A, B, C, D, E, F. But not F, the black in front of F, F sharp. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Something like that. So that's how to sing the major scale. Okay. For soprano and tenor singers, you can start from the middle C. But for alto and bass singers, you can start from G. 4 key notes, 4 white key notes below the middle C. Okay, you can start from there. But for professional singing, you should actually sing the major scale 2 octaves. You should actually be able to sing the major scale 2 octaves. For professional singing, the chorister is expected to sing the major scale 2 octaves. So that's what is written here. That's the singing. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, ti, la, sol, va, mi, re, do, ti, la, sol, va, mi, re, do. That is the major scale 2 octaves. Very necessary for a chorister. So how do you go about that? You need your local church pianist to assist you. Hum with your voice, the lowest sound you ever produce. La, la, la. That's the lowest sound I can produce. Try it yourself. The lowest sound you can produce. La. So try humming further low. Go low as possible. La, 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 la. So for you, it may not be the sound I'm producing. You try to go very low. Go low as possible. La, la. So the pianist will find that lowest sound for you on the piano. He will find it for you on the piano. It will vary for different persons. I think for me, my lowest sound is usually E. La. For someone else, it may be F. Someone else may be A. A typical soprano singer, it could be A for a typical soprano singer. For a regular soprano singer, the lowest sound she may be able to produce is A. The A below middle C. The A below middle C is the lowest sound she may be able to produce. You know, bass singer, it's that he may be able to produce, or C deep down. That is what the bass singer may be able to produce. So that lowest sound, let the pianist find that sound for you on the piano, and then call that sound do. So for me, instead of saying la, I'll say do. I'll say do, do, do. So from that lowest sound I'm producing, or you are producing, you can sing the major scale from there. 2 octaves. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. From the lowest sound again, go do, do. It is something every chorister should be able to do. Do, 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 re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. I think I can even go further. Do, re, mi, fa, sol. Of course, some 3 octaves, some can do 2 octaves, and so on. So you sing the major scale 2 octaves up and down. So that goes do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, va, mi, re, do, ti, la, sol, va, mi, re, do. So that's what the singer should be able to do, really. So for as usual, for generally speaking, the soprano and tenor singer may start from A. So the pianist can just give you A. Let him press A on the piano. Pick that A as your lowest sound. Sing up the scale for a soprano and tenor singer. For a bass and alto singer, you may want to start from F. Okay, so ask the piano to find F for you. Produce the F sound on piano, and then pick that F sound as the do sound, and run the scale 2 octaves up and down. Expressive soprano singer may start from B flat or C. For those who sing higher. So that's the topic on the major scale. You could go online, Google major scale, and you see articles, various write-ups, which you can use to improve your knowledge or add to your knowledge. Quickly, we go to chapter 6, key signature. Key signature. So an individual may start at any convenient point in his voice range to sing a song of choice. But when involved in group singing or with instrumentation, then the key of the song is determined first before they commence the singing. Otherwise, the singing will be rowdy and result in chaos. So usually it's the instrumentalist that gives the key. A particular key fixes the tonic on a particular letter sound. From the do, we can derive the letter sound representing the other tonic surfer. So for example, or for instance, in the key of C major, we have do, we have C as a do, E is the mi, G is the so. So the do sound is C, like we've been saying all through. The re is D, E is the mi sound, F is the va sound, G is the so sound, A is the la sound, B is the T sound, and C is the higher do. But in the key of A major, the do sound is no longer C. It's now A major. That's the do sound. It's now A major. So if the do sound is A, then the re sound will not be D, of course. It will now be B. The mi sound will be C sharp, like we've said earlier on. It's a sharp note. The va sound will be D. The so sound will be E, and so on. If we have E major, that's key E flat major, the do sound will not be A, it will not be C, rather it will be E flat. And then we have the same scenario where F is the re, G is the mi, A flat is the va, B flat is the so, and so on. So what this simply means is that the letter sound, they are fixed, permanent. They are permanent. It's the tonic surfers that change. The tonic surfers change with respect to the key. If we have key C major, the do sound, which is the home notes, which is like the captain of the sound, the group of sound, the tonic is C. If it's key A major, the tonic is A. If it's key E major, the tonic is E flat. So this is what we've been talking about all this while. Then how do we know when the music is A major, when it's E flat major, when it's B major, when it's C major, and so on? We use key signatures to represent them. So on the musical stave, if you just have an empty musical stave this way, nothing written on it, that music is key C major. The music is on key C major. Okay, so the piano itself is a key C instrument by default. Piano is a key C instrument by default, which means that if you play only on the white key notes, you are playing on key C. And if you don't touch any black key, just be playing only white key notes throughout, you will make sense. What you're playing will make sense. It will sound correctly. But bear in mind that you are only playing key C major. Okay, if you press any key notes, if you press 2 3 4 key notes, you'll be able to find out which one you'll be able to find out their tonic suffers. And then by the time you trace them to the C, the keynote, the white keynote called C, you discover that that do sound. And so when you play naturally on just white key notes on the piano, you are playing on key C major. But if you have to now play on any other key, assuming the song piece says key A, once it's key A major, you can't use only white key notes to achieve, to achieve the scale, that's producing the right tones of the scale. You can't use only white key notes. You have to touch 1 or 2 black keys. For key A major, you have to touch 3 black keys. You have to play 3 black keys. And those 3 black keys are C sharp, F sharp, and G sharp. Those are the 3 black keys you have to play. If you're playing on maybe F major, you have to touch at least 1 black key. It is B flat major you have to touch. So the question is, which keys do I have to play on sharps? Which keys do I have to play on flats? So that brings us to the categorization of the keys into sharp bases and flat bases. Okay, it brings it into sharp and flat bases. So the sharp basis keys are keys such that to construct the scale, you have to sharpen the 70 degree all the time. So if you take C major scale as a reference, because C major is a neutral key. Remember, we agreed it's a neutral key, no sharp, no flat. It's just only white keys throughout. It's a neutral key. So the next key, or the first key of the sharp basis, how do you determine that? It's by taking the C major scale and then pick the 5th degree on the C major scale. So the 5th degree on the C major scale is G. This is the 5th degree here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the 5th degree. So pick G major, spell out the scale, and then sharpen the 7th degree. So key G major has just 1 sharp, and that's F sharp major. Okay. So therefore, the key G major has 1 sharp, which is F sharp. The scale do re mi fa sol la ti do will sound correctly, okay, at the taste of our note when we use F sharp as T instead of F. Okay. Now pick the 5th degree of the G major, which is D major. Spell out D major. Okay, and sharpen the 7th degree. And then F has already been sharpened earlier on, so retain the F sharp that has been sharpened earlier on. So D major, key D major has 2 sharps, which is F sharp and C sharp. Pick the 5th degree of D major, which is A. Spell out the scale of A. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Sharpen the 7th degree, which is G sharp. Then retain the previously sharpened notes, which is C sharp and F sharp. So key A major has 3 sharps. Pick the 5th degree in key A, which is E. Run the scale of E major. Sharpen the 7th, which becomes, that's the newly sharpened key, D, while you retain the previously sharpened ones, F, C, and G. So key E major has 4 sharps. So when you apply all that, you get the complete keys of the sharp basis. So if you open a musical score and you see just 1 sharp written there, that is G major. You see 2 sharps written on at the commencement of the stave, that is D major. 3 sharps A major, 4 sharps E major, 5 sharps B major, 6 sharps is F sharp major, and 7 sharps is C sharp major. So when you go to the flat basis keys, the principle of the flat basis keys is different. It is using C major as a reference scale, that's the C major scale. Construct the scale of the 4th degree and flatten the 4th degree. So we take C major scale, which is the neutral scale, and the reference scale. Okay. We pick the 4th degree from there, which is F. So run the scale of F major, then flatten the 4th, which is B flat. So key F major has 1 flat, which is B flat major. This B flat major is different from B major. Remember, B is the white key, on the next to C is B, but B flat is the black key behind B. Okay. So on the F major scale, what's the 4th degree? B flat. So pick B flat and run the scale of B flat. Okay, then flatten the 4th again, which is E flat. So B flat has got two black keys, B flat and E flat. So on that E flat, on the B flat rather, the 4th degree once again is who? Is E flat. So pick E flat and run the scale of E flat, flatten A, and retain all previously flattened notes. So E flat major has got 3 flats. A flat major has got 4 flats. D flat major has got 5 flats. E flat major has got 6 flats. And key C flat major has got 7 flats. This is in theory. In theory, there is really no C flat major. Instead of C flat major, is B major. But in theory, there is C flat major. So to understand the flat basis keys, you can use the memory aid Father Benson eats apples during graduation ceremony. So that makes you see that the F is 1 flat, key B flat major has 2 flats, key E flat major has 3 flats, and so on. So how do we differentiate? Okay, that's what I'm about to say here. In the naming, the sharp basis keys are called without pronouncing sharp, while the flat basis keys are called by pronouncing flat. So if we say key A major, we refer to the A major with 3 sharps. If you want to refer to the major with A major with 4 flats, you have to say key A flat major. You have to say key A flat major. It's just like when you want to introduce a male doctor and a female doctor. Okay, say Dr. Matthew Johnson. Okay, when you say Dr. Matthew Johnson, we expect a male doctor. But when you say Dr. Mrs. Florence Johnson, then that is a female doctor. So if you want a male doctor, you say doctor. If you want to say a female doctor, say doctor, Mrs. So that's what applies here in the sharp basic keys. If you say key A major, we believe you refer to the A with 3 sharps. But if you want to refer to the if you say key A flat major rather, that means is the A with 4 flats. Okay, so key A major 3 sharps, key A flat major 4 sharps, key B major 5 sharps, key B flat major 2 flats, key G major 1 sharp, key G flat major 5 flats. So the exception is with key F. Key F major 1 flat, that's the exception. Key F major 1 flat. Key F sharp major 6 sharps. So that's just where the exception is. Okay. So we'll take more questions as we meet physically and understand each other. So the crux of the matter, the main topic, shall be doing. We spend almost an hour plus here. That's the topic transcription. Transcription, which is actually sight reading. Transcription is, being able to write, convert the musical notes into tuning software to facilitate sight singing.